Are you ready?
Are you ready?
For a podcast hosted by George T.
Who the hell are you?
I am the movie geek.
Who are you?
I am the movie geek.
You are such a geek.
Thank you.
And now, on with the show.
It's time!
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Here we go.
That is right. Welcome to Hollywood's biggest night, the Oscars. This preview is brought to you by just me. Okay. Really bad. But anyway, welcome to the Movie Geek Podcast. My name is George Dino, and this is going to be the big Oscar preview show. And we have a whole lot of categories to go through, and my takes and my predictions. And we'll also look at what DraftKings has as their number ones. So I'm hoping that if you are as big a movie geek as I am, or just love the Oscars or love movies in general, you will have your favorites as well. I know that there is Oscar sheets out there that you can fill out and so on. And I know my friend, she does one every year. And I kind of asked her to want to come on to the show and we could do a little back and forth debate, but she did not want to do that. And I understand, because honestly, I wasn't even sure I wanted to even do the podcast. But now that we are 7 weeks or 7 podcasts in and a bunch in the can right now, as they say in the showbiz, it is coming along hopefully well. So let's not waste any time. We have done our Razzie show that played before this, so I hope that this will be more on the serious side as opposed to the Razzies, which were the non-serious side of things. So let's begin. We've got Best Adapted Screenplay. Your choices are Oppenheimer, Barbie, American Fiction, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest. So, Best Adapted Screenplay. I wasn't sure that Barbie was adopted screenplay. I don't know particulars on this one. Like, I didn't know it had something to do with a book or something, but I know it is a doll. So, but as far as the rest of this is concerned, there is background for it. So, but my number one would be Oppenheimer. And this is going to be a theme throughout the show. So, spoiler alert for the show, but Oppenheimer was my choice here. DraftKings agrees with me. They have that as number one, Barbie is number 2, and American Fiction is number 3. Now, I would say Oppenheimer, but because Barbie is so close in this race, I would not be surprised if Barbie were to sneak in there. Cinematography is next. So these are obviously objective awards coming up. We've got this one, the makeup and hairstyles, production design, film editing, sound. So all of this stuff has subjective looking eyes, more or less. So you may like a picture, but, is it Oscar worthy, apparently? So we're going to look at cinematography. We have Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, and El Conde, which is one of the foreign films in this one. That one actually was pretty good, but as far as cinematography, best cinematography has to be Oppenheimer. Just the seamless transitions, you get onto the edge of your seat and, is this thing going to work? Obviously, we know it's going to, but the tension and the drama of how this is going to work is just, it's a lot. And so my number one would be Oppenheimer, and DraftKings agrees. Poor Things got the number 2 spot on DraftKings, and Killers of the Flower Moon was 3rd in the voting. So again, these are all kind of objective things. Obviously, the committees could see it differently. Killers of the Flower Moon, by no stretch of the imagination, probably should be 3rd. I think it should be 2nd, and Poor Things should be 3rd. And again, who knows, but Oppenheimer is my number one. Makeup and hairstyle. Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Society of the Snow. So hair and makeup and hairstyle. For my choice, I would say it would be Maestro. To get into that time frame again with Leonard Bernstein and his family and the times that they lived in, it looked very authentic. It looked very cool. So that would be my number one in that category. And DraftKings agrees again. So looks like I might make some money, right now if all of that goes well. Their number two was Poor Things, and Society of the Snow was third. Society of the Snow was really good as well. But if you're looking for time frame and just encompassing that time frame, Maestro is definitely my choice in that regard. Production design, your choices: Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. Okay, so this is a tough category because, again, you can choose any number of these. All of them had really good set designs, and it's one of those things where if you like the movie, you like the movie. So you kind of go, oh, that's really cool, visually stunning, that sort of thing. So my choice is going to be a little bit different in this. I went along with DraftKings, and I think, and this is going to shock you, Barbie will take this home, and so does DraftKings. Again, I think production design-wise, to create a world that isn't actually there and make it into a entire world that you could see. Now, again, the movie is corny as hell, okay? But the other movies in this category, you've got Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, all had significant backdrops. They all had a world to be in. Poor Things as well. So to completely create an entire world, I think Barbie should definitely win in this category, and DraftKings, along with me, agrees. So yes, I voted for Barbie in this category. Now, we got sound design. So we've got The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer, and Zone of Interest. So Maestro, definitely with sound, as Leonard Bernstein, it definitely was a great musical mix, had great design. Mission Impossible, again, you've got your music that goes along with the action, just really good. But if you want a movie to make you like, wow, that sound really goes with that and encompasses it, it's got to be Oppenheimer, because you're just waiting for the bomb to go off and you're waiting for that sound, and it just comes at you and you just feel it. And so my number one would be Oppenheimer, and DraftKings agreed with me again. So kind of crazy on that one. So film editing, you've got Anatomy of Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. In this one, obviously film editing, you've got, how it flows, is there any inconsistencies and that sort of thing. And so again, all five of these movies that are nominated, you can't find a bad one here. For me, and this will shock probably, but Killers of the Flower Moon for me, which is DraftKings, is number 3 on this list, as opposed to Oppenheimer, which is their number 1. I got to say, I kind of don't agree with that. So I think Killers of the Flower Moon in kind of an upset in this one. But hey, if Oppenheimer wins, they win. All right, so now we're on to documentary short film, and your choices are The ABC of Book Burning, The Barber of Little Rock, Island in Between, The Last Repair Shop, and Nana plus Wa Po. So I did see these, and DraftKings would go with the ABCs of Book Burning. My choice is going to be The Last Repair Shop. And The Last Repair Shop is about this group of people who are repairing broken instruments to give back to their communities and to schools. I thought it was really, really good. So that is going to be my choice. If you have not seen this documentary, I would suggest checking it out. It is number 2 on the DraftKings list. I think it's going to be the winner. Live action short film. Your choices: The After, Invincible, Night of Fortune, Red, White, and Blue, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. So DraftKings and I do agree The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is going to win. This is a short film that stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Ben Kingsley as Henry Sugar goes through life. He is self-made kind of man and does all this stuff like he goes into a casino and wins a whole lot on blackjack. He just has this unique gift to winning money, and then he kind of just throws it out into the crowd like he's some kind of a Robin Hood. And then there's some other stories of, life and death, and it's a wonderful little mix, and I think it is definitely number one, and so did DraftKings. The After was really good as well. This is about a father who loses his wife and daughter, and he is a rideshare driver now, and he's not sure why he's still doing it. He's still trying to figure out his life, and he wants to take his life because he can't bear to live without his wife and daughter, who were killed by a gunman. And so his last passengers before the movie is over with, a little girl who looks just like his daughter, and the mom and dad are fighting, and she's just very silent, and she does not want to leave the car, and he goes out and tries to help her go to the stairs, and she goes in the house with them, and then he just kind of breaks down, and it's sad. I can't even imagine losing a child. I have a 15-year-old and a 5-week-old, and I can't even imagine how that would feel. So, and I don't want to, but I would say if The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar was not in this category, The After would have been number one for me. So even if The After were to win that award, I would be all for it. Animated short film. The nominees are Letter to a Pig, 95 Cents, Our Uniform, Pachyderma, and War is Over. So my choice, and along with DraftKings as well, is Letter to a Pig. I'm not going to get into it. If you're into animated films, this is something that you should check out. I thought it was well done, and that is going to be my winner on this one. Original screenplay. Your choices are Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, and Past Lives. So my winner for this is going to be The Holdovers. I really like The Holdovers. I really liked Maestro. I did like May, December. May, December, for those of you who don't know, this is a movie with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore. This kind of has, and if you remember the story of Mary Kay Letourneau, this is kind of like one of those films where Natalie Portman's character is an actor who's going to be acting out the love story that Julianne Moore and this young man have. And it's very much like Mary Kay Letourneau thing, except they're not teacher student. They are boss employee. Actually, technically, they're friend and friend's son. So it's kind of interesting in that regard, but it was a really good movie. And Past Lives was really good as well. But Holdovers for me was a really good movie, and that is going to be my choice. Unfortunately, is number 2 on DraftKings, but I don't care. The Holdovers was one really good film, and we will go with that. International feature film. I may screw a lot of these names up, so sorry about that. Lo Capitano from Italy, Perfect Days from Japan, Society of the Snow, Spain, The Teacher's Lounge, Germany, and Zone of Interest, the United Kingdom. So this one was really tough for me. Society of the Snow is based on the true story of the survivors of the Andes crash soccer team in 1972. They had to try to survive on these mountains, and I was surprised that many people survived all those days on those mountains with nothing. Really, I mean, they had to survive avalanche and cold weather and more snow, and it's so good. And then you've got Zone of Interest. This takes place during Hitler's reign. So again, you've got 2 really good films. My choice is going to be Society of the Snow. So we'll see if that one wins. Animated feature film. We have The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, No Marvel, Robot Dreams, and Spider-Man Across the Spideyverse. Well, you know my number 1 is going to be Spider-Man, the most amazing animated film of this year, by far, hands down. Don't even try to give me another one. All of these films probably were great. I mean, I did see them. But again, for my money and everybody else's money, Spider-Man absolutely should rake this one in. So that leads us to Best Director. Jonathan Glazer for Zone of Interest, Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Martin Scorsese for Killer of the Flower Moon, and Justin Triet for Anatomy of a Fall. you know my number one is going to be Christopher Nolan. Right now, probably one of the best directors on this planet right now. And again, I've said this over and over again. Hey, I got some scripts. I would love for Christopher Nolan to want to do one of my scripts. The man is amazing. He is going to win this. Now, very strangely, DraftKings does not have a winner or loser in this category. They don't even have the category listed. I think that was kind of an oversight. I'll have to look that up. But Christopher Nolan wins it, definitely. Even though Martin Scorsese is amazing, I've loved his films as well. But Christopher Nolan, by far, number one, he's winning this. Oppenheimer continues to take down the bigger ones. So now we get into the actor categories. So Best Supporting Actress. We got Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer. We got Danielle Brooks, The Color of Purple, America Ferrera in Barbie, Jodie Foster in Nyad, and Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. My choice would be Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. She has won some of the awards on other shows, and I think she was absolutely brilliant as she kind of navigates the waters between the teacher and the student to try to make him understand that the student has a need and a want, and for him to not be such a dick, because Paul Giamatti's character is a guy who just doesn't want to be liked, apparently. His life has turned on him many times, and he is very hostile at times, and he just doesn't relate to kids anymore. And eventually he and this kid get a chance to kind of come together, and it's really because of her. And for that, I absolutely agree that she should win this. Jodie Foster was amazing in Nyad as, Nyad's best friend who kept her going through all of this. At times, she was an amazing friend to her, and so that performance was really good. Emily Blunt being nominated, I'm not sure. I know she played the wife of Oppenheimer in this. She wasn't really in the movie that much. Florence Pugh was in it more than I think. So that is my choice, is Divine Joy Randolph. We have Best Supporting Actor. We have Sterling Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo for Poor Things. Look, sorry, again, I'm not sure about Ryan Gosling being in the Best Supporting Actor. Wasn't he Ken? Isn't that supposed to be a main character? But whatever. I know he's supporting Barbie, I guess. But my number one is going to be Robert Downey Jr. What an amazing performance. Don't take anything away from Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro. Why would you take anything away from him? But I think Robert Downey Jr., and DraftKings agrees with me, is definitely going to win this Best Supporting Actor Oscar. We've got Best Actress. We have Annette Bening for Nyad, Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Haller for Anatomy of the Fall, Carey Mulligan from Maestro, and Emma Stone for Poor Things. So this one is tough for me. Emma Stone is one of my top 10 favorite actresses right now. She was really good in this film. But Lily Gladstone, for me, in probably a mild upset, probably over Emma Stone. Lily Gladstone was really good. I think this is going to be my upset here, as DraftKings thinks Emma Stone is number one. Lily Gladstone was second. I honestly think Lily Gladstone wins this, and no disrespect to Emma Stone, because if she wins it, fine. Love the pick, because Emma Stone is amazing in almost everything she does. But for my money, Lily Gladstone is my number one. We go with Best Actor now. Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Colman Domingo for Rustin, Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, Calvin Murphy for Oppenheimer, and Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction. All fine actors in this category. And again, Leo DiCaprio not getting an Oscar nod means these 5 performances were very, very strong. And I do tend to agree. My choice, though, is going to be Calvin Murphy for Oppenheimer. But I would not be surprised if Paul Giamatti or Bradley Cooper were to win this. Both actors played amazing characters. Obviously, Bradley Cooper played Leonard Bernstein. But Calvin Murphy in the best movie of the year, Oppenheimer, is where I go with this one. So that leads us to the Best Picture of the Year. And in alphabetical order, we go American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Well, you obviously know which one is mine. It's Oppenheimer. by far. Absolute, just an amazing movie. And, my son and I got to see the film, and he was like, wow, we actually make bombs like that. And again, I'm like, man, what are these schools teaching nowadays? Yes, we have that capability. And it's scary to think that, we do have that capability, and we did have that capability to just eradicate human beings. But Christopher Nolan put it all together with an amazing all-star cast, and that is by far my number one, and I don't see anything remotely close to it. I mean, Killers of the Flower Moon, great movie. Poor Things was good, but I don't see anything touching it this year. It has been the overwhelming favorite in all of the awards shows, and believe me, there's a shit ton of of Choice Awards and Screen Actors Guild and all this other stuff. They're just, it's a smorgasbord of award shows. But this definitely takes the number one spot, and DraftKings agrees with me as well, and you probably agree with me as well. And nobody come at me and say Barbie. My God, what is wrong with you people? I can't even believe I got nominated, but again, when you make a lot of money, that's usually how this goes. So that is going to be the show. I guess it is special airtime now, 7 p.m., I guess, for the East Coast people like me, who literally stay up until after midnight to watch the show, because every year they keep saying, oh, it's going to get shorter and shorter, and it never seems to do that. So 7 o'clock, your host is obviously going to be Jimmy Kimmel. I like the pick. I know he's done it so many times in the past, or he's done award shows in the past. At least he's funny. Hopefully the jokes will be just as funny, or the skits or whatever. And I know they've had trouble getting guest hosts in the past because, again, the trolls are out there, or just, the media loves to pounce when, something goes wrong, so, but I'm glad they've got an actual comedian who actually has some skill, and, if he has an opinion, that will be his opinion and not blame writers for it. So Jimmy Kimmel, do a great job. And that is all, folks. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this episode preview, and I hope that if you are a degenerate gambler like myself, no, I'm not really degenerate, but it could be considered degeneration if you actually bet on the Oscars, because that's the way I felt last year on the DraftKings app. But you know what? Maybe this year I don't feel that way, and I'm going to do it anyway. So with that being said, we are going to watch this with bated breath, and we're going to see how I do when we recap the Razzies and the Oscars on our weekly one on Thursday. So I hope you tune in for that one as well. I'm grateful for you guys to listen to this, and I'm glad that you are following me, and I hope to see you all next week on Thursday, and I'm hoping to see you all at the movies. Let's go, Oscars.
See you next time. Bye.
Waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's all, folks.